fall ill? Or
No,
that's
kind of injury. So we'll see where I'll know more in the next couple days. We're not going to practice tomorrow. We'll practice Wednesday. I'll know more Wednesday where that's at.
upper or lower? Or?
Upper.
Okay.
Upper. He could be okay. I just don't know yet for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, he couldn't finish the game. We'll go under evaluation here tomorrow, and then it might be something where he's okay. It might not be. So I'll let you know on Wednesday.
Okay. Seemed like everything was just kind of off today with you guys. Is that?
Well, to start. So my whole take on the game was the first 15 minutes of the first, they dominated us. The first 5 minutes of the second, they took it to us. Spencer kept us in it through that stretch. I thought the last 5 of the first and the rest of the game we were not bad, and then we were really good in the third. So we didn't. Unfortunately, the game isn't 40 minutes long; it's 60. And we've talked about it being an every night league, and part of an every night league is, it's a 60-minute game, sometimes 65. And you got to make sure that you're at, as close to your best as you can. And unfortunately, to start the game, we were nearly close to our best. And listen, you're not going to be perfect every night, but you have to be better than that. And they were on top of their game for sure. They were flying. So got to do a better job with that. Like I said, we'll take tomorrow off. We have a lot of games through the month, so we're going to kind of manage practice times. We'll hopefully have a good practice on Wednesday, come back Thursday.
Is this when you just throw out the result?
No. Like there's got to be. I'm a huge believer that you learn from stuff, and I thought our D zone had been pretty good the last little bit, and I thought tonight in the first especially it wasn't. Now sometimes when you lose puck races, you lose puck battles, it's hard for any part of your system to look good. So I think the core part of it was just lack of execution, losing puck races and puck battles. We have to learn from that, and I think this team's been pretty good about generally coming every night and generally giving 60-minute efforts, but it's we say it ad nauseum, it's an every night league.
You slaggered up out of that line with Dickinson and McCabe. How do you think they did tonight?
Okay, it's a tough match. I didn't think they had it early. Obviously they're out there in that first, the goal against in the second. I thought there were moments where they were real good, but moments where they weren't. When you play against that line, you got to be at your best. And I didn't think, I moved Slags up there because of the speed element. Thought that would give us a little bit more speed to go against the McDavid's speed. You have kind of Mickey and Slags on the wings that can really hunt and hound and do that. But we were just a little bit off there, and you can't be a little bit off against that line.
There were a couple of whistles in there, but Lechnov had a 5.5-minute shift at one point.
Yeah.
Is that just a fluky thing where the power play there in the offensive zone the whole time? And
we had talked about it, like was there opportunities to change? One of the things I think we're trying to help the young players is learning how to change. Man, it wasn't a lot. There might have been one chance where he could have sprinted to the bench, but we all got to be careful of that because we don't want him sprinting to the bench, giving up a 2-on-1. So, the power play was just such a weird power play. We were all over him at the end there. He had a real chance, so it's just a hard opportunity to change. And then once we got in our zone, we had the puck on our stick a couple times. We got to find a way to get it down the ice. To get it to the red and get it down the ice. We didn't do that. So he kind of was a little bit of victim of circumstance in that shift.
You talked about when Bedard was out, how the team found its identity in the offensive zone and in other ways. What made it hard to get back to that identity without him tonight?
Well, I just think, let's forget probably the X's and O's and the kind of identity piece to start. You got to win puck battles, puck races to have any chance, and we just didn't do that early. So you're going to have zero identity when you don't do that. So because of that, we didn't spend any time in the O zone. I thought as we went through the third period, we did a lot of things that we want to do, and we were much better. I think a lot of guys honestly just raised their game, but. You're gonna have those short spurts. It's something we want to make sure we have a hard middle drive. We want to make sure that we're making plays when they're there. If not, we're predictable to each other, so we can be first touch, so we can be on top of them if they get first touch in a good forecheck situation. And we were kind of on our heels to start because we weren't on top of our game.
When you're in a game like that where you're not getting a lot of offensive zone time opportunities, when you do get the puck in the offensive zone, do you want them to be more selective to avoid being like one and done shots on goal?
I would say certainly more selective in forced plays, maybe more than shots. I think most shots are good shots if there's any kind of traffic. I mean, if there's nobody in front of the net, then you got to be a little bit more selective. But definitely in terms of forced plays, I think there was chances where we could have kind of made them kind of ground them a little bit more, and we forced some stuff, which then goes back the other way. So, but part of playing good hockey is you shoot it and you got to be able to recover it. You have to, and that's winning those puck races and puck battles.
Is this the best you've seen from Tyler Bertuzzi in his career?
I've been a big fan of Tyler Bertuzzi his whole pro career. I had him the first kind of minute he stepped into pro from junior, just in a playoff series. He's, to me, a really good hockey player. He's a winning hockey player. He does a lot of little things right. I've seen him score 30 in Detroit when I was there. But I think, to answer your question, it's certainly he's playing great hockey. Is it the best I've seen him? I don't know, but he's playing great hockey because he's really doing it at both ends of the ice. He's doing it the right way, and really kind of led us that way.
Yeah, good assessment. I mean, it's exactly just, no excuse for it, right? So that's it's disappointing against a team where you have to be detailed and ready. They just got to their game better than we did, and we were just off by everything. Passes, shots, plays, simple plays that we've made. So disappointing, but I liked how we answered and pushed back, but you can't spot a team game like that and expect to win.
I know you guys hate excuses, but I got to imagine the room is pretty depleted right now. It's hard to come back after a day or two of being sick. And
yeah, everyone faces it. It's a reality, obviously. No one's Superman. You're obviously not going to feel great, but I told guys the last time you feel great in the NHL is your first game. Really. So it's a hard league. It's a league that you have to find your game regardless of how you feel. No one feels good, especially this time of year. So regardless of that, it's creating your own energy, creating your own motivation to do the things well. So if you don't have your game, it's simplifying. It's not making the plays we were making today, right? It's making it a little bit easier on yourself so that your game can kind of come to you, and especially against a team like that.
Spencer seemed to keep you into the show.
Yeah, outstanding. Especially him playing. Okay, there's your excuse coming back from being sick. Why the hell is he playing so well? So, he's been outstanding for us all year, and another reason why we were even in the game today.
When Connor was out hurt, it seemed like you guys found an identity without him. Was it harder to get back to that identity when maybe it wasn't, you didn't know in advance that he wasn't going to be available?
No, that's always, you obviously would prefer Connor in the lineup. We prefer Frank in the lineup. We prefer any of our great players in the lineup. But, the reality is when you don't have them, you just come together. It's almost a game where you tighten up and do it for them, right? And do it for each other, or you play the right way. And today we just allowed them to get to their game right away, right? Like we didn't make them hard on them. They were getting passes to the slot. That's not like us, right? We're a team that really protects the middle well, makes it really hard to get through. We're fast. We didn't look as fast as we needed to be. So, it's all those things that rolled into one. And the good side is we find a way to get one and kind of almost turn the tides. But again, against a team like that, you just can't play 40 minutes or 35 minutes. You got to find a way to play a full game. We expect more of ourselves right now with the position that we put ourselves in. I think there's an expectation now of finding a way to be that team consistently. So that's what disappoints you. But we're good about just turning the page and learning from this, and we'll have a good day of practice on Wednesday and get ready to go.
Like you guys didn't really have your legs the first couple of periods?
No, I didn't. They came out fine. I think we were a little bit flat through probably the first 15 minutes. We kind of turned it on a little bit at the first, and even the start of the second, still a little flat.
With the way Bertuzzi's been playing lately, is it just when you see him driving the net, throw the puck right on?
Yeah, he's a monster around the net. Any loose puck battles, he's winning it. It's bouncing to him, but also he has to be there for the bounce rate. So I think he puts himself in a ton of good spots. You see him around the net, just shoot.
Those 2 PKs at the end of the second period really seemed to kind of give you guys some life going into the third. You must have felt pretty good going into the third, all things considered.
Yeah, I think we kind of started finding our game a little bit, really just kind of trying to tilt the ice a little bit their way. And so I think the third we got back to our game a little bit, but it's hard against a team like that when you come out flat.
Nick mentioned that there were maybe more passes into the slot allowed than normal. Obviously, there's some tough forwards over there. What was the challenge defensively?
Yeah, we're going to have to break it down, the next couple of days and kind of really look at it. But it seemed like we were giving up a lot through the neutral zone, so it backed us off. And then as that's coming in with speed, we just had some tough sort outs, I think. So you give those guys some room and they attack. So, yeah, we'll look at it, learn from it, and keep growing.